Welcome to the Software People Stories. I'm Shiv.
I'm Chitra.
And I'm Gayatri.
We bring you interesting, untold stories of people
Associated with the creation
Or consumption of software-based solutions.
You'll hear stories of what worked,
and sometimes what didn't,
you will also hear very personal experiences.
and insights that would trigger your thoughts
And inspire you to do even greater things. In this very interesting conversation with Mohan Panchapikesan, who's the CEO of Medexpert and agilehealth.in, we are covering varied topics of social impact, digital divide, and in his own words, how as a software engineer and a product engineer, you can actually change the world.
So if this is being run, how to efficiently run, because you have been brought up in this service industry mindset, right? So let us improve. Probably, I think you can still be outside of the system, but I think that gives you peripheral view of, okay, how to basically, if you are in the system, you may not know that, you may know all the problems, you may not solve them. But if you are just outside that system, you may be aware of the problems they are talking, and you may find a better mechanism to track them and close.
Listen on.
Hi, Mohan. Welcome to the Software People Stories today.
Hi, Gayatri. It is a pleasure being invited here. I see that you have done a lot of interviews out here, and I am excited that I am being part of this one. Let's go ahead and...
Excellent, Mohan. It's an honor for us that you are here. Can you introduce yourself for our listeners?
Yeah, my name is Mohan Panchapikesan, in short, Mohan only. I did my engineering in Anna University, Chennai, way back in 91. I'm a 91 pass out, actually. And then I did my master's from IIT Kharagpur, and then I joined a company called RS Software in Kolkata. That's where the whole IT journey started. That was in 1995. It was everybody was joining IT industry at that time, but you don't get placed basically. They were like, if you want to join Infosys, I think in our college when we did that, I think 300 people wrote the exam. I think they recruited 6 people. So from 300 first cut, I think we became 20 people qualified, and from 20 people they qualified 6 people for
Wow.
So it was, the cutting was very big, and they were also thinking that quality matters more at that point in time. Now I think as anything happens, it's cyclical, and now the quality matters again right now in larger quantities right now. That's what happened. Born and brought up in Trichy, actually. So I did my schooling in ERA school there in Trichy. So till 12th I was there. Then I moved to Chennai. So I've been independent from the families from that point onwards. So I'm more of a self-made person is what I call myself. But I think everybody is a self-made person either way. Until then, I'm a small city boy only, right? So you have your own limitations out there. You don't know a lot of stuff, and you learn a lot of stuff when you come there. So that's a brief capsule. As we talk, I think I'll touch some of the other parts of my life also. Right?
Thank you, Mohan. And one of the biggest introduction you missed. You are a CEO of Medexpert Solutions today, and you are also, as an innovator at large. So you've won so many awards. So I want to. How does it feel you've reached a point where you're being recognized by the industry?
To bring that as a part of the conversation. I don't want to jump into. So I'm a developer.
As an introduction.
At my heart, I'm a small town boy and a developer who joined the industry. That's what I'm feeling nowadays. Otherwise, if you feel that you are a CEO, you reach the top of the world, and you lose that inquisitiveness to probe things and other stuff. So I was just trying to introduce as I move forward with the conversation. So currently, as I said, I'm the CEO of Medexpert Software Solutions, and we cater to healthcare industry in general and hospitals in particular, actually. So we make them hospitals run their business efficiently, and that's the whole goal. And provide in India, I think the modernization of or the adoption of technology in hospitals is a little bit of not at par or not enforced in legally also. So they do have a lot of paper pencil work going out there also. So digitizing them to the current trend is also one part of it. And then Providing a reasonably quality product along with a reasonable price is my goal, and provide as a software as a service on the cloud is what we do actually. And but there are a lot of other things we do also. It's only there is a staple stock of business which is just selling a software to the hospital. But in general, upgrading the healthcare industry also, moving it to they have a standards here, healthcare 4.0 and all, where a lot of things are happening in terms of adoption of technology in all spheres of the healthcare industry itself. To put something in there to make sure that we are, for example, there are a lot of ecosystem players out there. Insurance is a great player out there, and then you have patients and customers at large, and then you have pharmacy chains, you have the equipment labs and other stuffs also. So there's a whole lot of eco chain which is out there that needs to be enabled, interacting seamlessly. So those are some of the things we do also. So it's just not just managing the hospital is one part of it basically. And we are involved in some of those things also. And as we...
Fantastic, Mohan. Couple of questions that are running in my mind. First is, you call yourself, continuously curious, right? And having that imbibed in your mind, saying that how could you be inquisitive, curious, and what you do. How did you build that character in you?
Very, very simple. I think when I joined the industry in 95, so I'm not a native computer science student. At that point in time, I think some kind of talent, some analytical skills, they put some tests and then they recruit you basically. When you go there into an industry where you have zero knowledge, so automatically there are guys who have come out with background and knowledge. So now you have been thrown into a pool with sharks out there, and you just have to swim your way out basically. So essentially, it is a necessity that makes you inquisitive. So obviously, if you don't know even a computer architecture, what is a motherboard, what is an I/O device, you don't know anything, what is a CPU. Now you are into using that part of that this thing. So you need to know. So a lot of people, the curiosity comes by you are forced to use something and you don't know about that, right? So essentially, you get used to understanding, hey, first, what is that I'm trying to use? So they threw me, I'm a mainframe programmer to start with, basically.
Okay.
So, and that thing, at that point in time, it's a 64 GB RAM. Now 64 GB RAM comes in my mobile right now, or like probably more than that also in some of the cases. So at that point, you don't know what it is, and it's a monster. And if you go see it, will occupy one single room itself, and there are multiple towers standing out there, and it requires maintenance, all those things. So essentially, you understand when you started this career, I think I was probably a complete novice in terms of infrastructure, complete novice in terms of development cycles. And everybody is also learning. So there is a good bunch of people who you are related to are also learning a business software at that point in time. So that gave essentially a lot of input into how you think and how you become curious. So when we joined that company, RS Software, it's a good company actually. I think they had a captive client, Morgan Stanley or something like that, and they were starting doing a state project for us also. I think it was the group insurance plan. They were having it in a flat file database, but they wanted to convert it into a RDBMS, and it was a craze at that point in time to move from a key sequential data sets to RDBMS at that time. So essentially now you know how the data get organized, and because if you don't know, you can't attack the problem that is thrown at you. And they don't care whether you joined a company today or not. Some task is given to you to get completed. You go find out your own channels for acquiring the knowledge, right? And that makes you automatically you turn to, and not now the Google is not there, right? Google, people make the Google, and then books make a Google. So CJ date is you have I think introduction to some DB2 concepts by CJ date. I bought that book. So because like you have to get introduced to what is an RDBMS, how we talking about. You don't know the inverted binary trees at that point in time. You have and how the paging works, 4K page in, page out, all those things you will never know, because how the large volume of data is handled. So automatically you become curious by by being thrown into an unknown system. So I will not call myself a naturally curious person, But I think when you are put in a situation where you don't have a clue, you'll automatically become curious, is what I'm thinking, Gayatri.
Put Mohan. In fact, some of the things that I also listen to you is sometimes when you look at it from a beginner's mindset, even after years of being experienced, if you use that beginner's mindset and say, stay curious, right? You constantly say, okay, why is this working like this? And why not something else, right? I think how
I
might
think
we?
that is
Makes
50% of it, Gayatri. Normally, the situations come around in such a way that you are thrown into a situation where you are not familiar. So you are really curious or not, but if you allow yourself to be in situations where you are not familiar with, automatically you will become curious. For example, the project I'm trying to do right now, in that I think I never knew that I think there's something called serverless architecture. So I didn't know that. I think, but
okay.
it is very, very common in the cloud SaaS world, it seems.
Lambda and
Uh,
everything, yeah.
yeah, and I'm actually running a little bit of a SaaS company. My hospital management system runs on cloud, so I run a SaaS company. And suddenly I see that what is this? So people are talking about AWS Lambda, Kubernetes, Dockerization, all kinds of stuff. There's something behind that part of how do we get to know that? And I have to execute a project in that basically. So essentially, as I told you, 50% is basically what you are naturally curious. 50% of the times you get thrown into a
Situation.
situation where you have to situation drives you to be curious. And I would probably call myself a situation-driven curiosity guy. Gayatri.
Lovely, Mohan. I think it's amazing where whenever you're run into a situation, you see there are. I read about Carol Dweck's book, talks about growth mindset and fixed mindset. Right. Whenever a situation gets thrown at you, if you say, "Okay, I'm here to learn," and if you look at it like that, rather than saying, "Okay, no, what if I fail?" If we let that in our mind, right, that becomes harder. So
Yeah, very, very, very valid point you brought up on the growth mindset and fixed mindset. See, these type of things we don't even know as a brought up, right? Like the culture we were brought up, we don't know that. I think there is something called a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. But the terms right now, do they make sense? I think it makes sense because being at a position where I am right now running a company, I know that there is a point to what people are talking about. There's something called uh, uh, I know that I just get the gist of what a growth mindset is, but you only know it as a word. But when you sit at the position where I am, I understand the road. Hey, okay, what these guys are talking is making much sense right now. Meaning, if I don't have a growth mindset, I can live with okay, something happens on its own. So what? So what do we do? That part, if it is not ignited in you, then you will be stuck in that. Whether it's a normal growth mindset or not, but how do I make myself fit into the open challenges out there? And if you start thinking like that, automatically the growth mindset sits in you, and then you can appreciate these concepts that have been in the books. So it is no more a bookish knowledge. Like I think that is the only advantage I got by running a company right now. Maybe I think before we started the conversation, we brought up Satya, who is a friend, mutual friend. You told the entrepreneurial spirit is like getting kindled by that. I am just running to go meet that need, basically. So I think somehow the more responsibility you take in terms of position, basically, either in corporate or outside, I think that drives you automatically. You will get the growth mindset, and there is a need also, right? I think when I cannot sit in the same position. I think when I was in school, I was in I think it's a multi-tenanted architecture where you live. Multi-tenants live in the same set of house or something like that. So it's a multi-tenanted architecture at that time. But now the growth mindset is you have your own individual house. That's a growth mindset, right? So you have your own thing, and then you create a community for all the people to be sitting there, kind of. I don't know. That type of how we leverage or improve ourselves, and then how we take the other group of people who are associated with you, or the ecosystem that is associated with you, all along with you. So that as you grow, you take those community also, as well as your employees also, along with you to grow, basically. I think one of the curious examples of the growth mindset is Elon Musk, actually. If you look at the problem, I think I saw something yesterday. So they are trying to, there are multiple ways you can attack the population growth problem, right? Population growth problem is existent and nobody is going to, it is not going to go away just by wishing it, right?
Correct.
So China is trying to attack it in some way. Europe is having some other way to do that. So Europe is doing the other way, right? I think the traditional marriage, family, those things are going away. So governmental control in China, to address, okay, let me try to address the problem by not having more than X number of children. So there is a societal level approach to that, and there is a government level approach to that. Now Elon Musk says, okay, the fixed capacity of Earth is not sufficient for me. Let me go put a tent out there in Mars. See, right? So if we cannot solve the problem of population growth, let me find another place where we can go sit there, basically. It's same like the way we normally go. Like you live in a joint family, you say live in a multi-family setup, a multi-tenanted architecture. So you have multi-tenants in the same structure. Now you move to a individual thing. So now they also move from this place, one place to, okay, let's find another planet for us. So, that's a growth mindset. So the fixed mindset is trying to solve the problem with our means. And a growth mindset is let me find other options to solve the problem. So that is when you are naturally inquisitive to find out, okay, what is out there in Mars? Is it a livable, habitable place? So these are outcomes of growth mindset. But if you try to solve the problem within the ecosystem, like China or Europe is not trying to actually solve the problem. I think they are trying to, in some means, it is happening that way because of the cultural breakage from normal traditional married life. I believe. So they're going.
And it's very interesting where you are saying from a fixed to growth, you are able to relate it to Elon Musk and the overall societal macro population issue.
Because like, if you have an ideal mind, you only think like this.
Inside the box.
So essentially, you create a thinking only if you find time for yourself to think all these problems or relate to what is happening around you. To the common problems you see. Okay, if Elon Musk is doing something, why is he doing? So Elon Musk may or may not know why he is doing that. Maybe he has an achiever's mindset of I need to go there kind of thing.
So, before you started this firm, right? You were working for Cognizant and were part of various leadership roles, right? So one of the bigger things, right, in as being software and the two such large enterprises, right? It's always a challenge to get your own voice heard and also ensure that your ambitions are also met. So you were talking about how you are building your team and how do you ensure that you are continuing to grow oneself. Thoughts or stories that you want to share with our listeners there?
Yeah. So I think just the way when we joined the industry to where it is right now, I think I don't normally fit in a corporate environment today. So I will say that for sure. So when we started, the demand is less because we have to find projects.
Correct.
But I think we need to get quality people because we have to execute it. So that was a different set of problem at that point. Now the demand is huge and the supply is very less. So the problem at that point and at this point cannot be compared. Okay, and the industry also moved on from so when mainframes were there, so there are corporates have a single machine or something like that, and then Bill Gates comes out a growth mindset. Okay, I'll give one computer at home basically for every family in America. That's the goal which comes. Okay, and Dell comes and says I will do the supply of that one. Right.
Okay.
So these guys have moved from hey, I have now we have moved back to a cloud where I think everything gets centralized. So a centralized delivery of even the infrastructure to now a different set of paradigm shift in the way. But I think that in principle, the aggregation and consolidation at a cloud level is something which happens basically right now. But how do we meet the individual needs also at that point in time? So there's a cloud that is a group of machines, but still I will call my machine as my machine. So it's like an apartment complex or something like that. So it's the same with, so when the car was there, so when the car industry, the automobile industry was picking up at the time, so there were, I think rich people having one car or something like that. Then Ford comes up and says, boss, I'll have a Model T in everybody's house. See, interestingly, you brought up the growth mindset. The growth mindset embedded in American culture is what I'm thinking. It's not a adulation of American culture. But I think this one is something like, okay, we will do it big. Bigger is better. Okay, a McDonald's, okay, put 5,000 McDonald's chain. Or a Starbucks, put 500
Yeah.
of them.
Like
Walmart, put,
ambitiousness, no?
yeah,
You
but I
always
think
think
it's
ambitious.
more of a democratize whatever you do. Basically, reach out to all the people so that, and there is a growth associated with that. But that's, I think it's part. Otherwise, we can't do the business. We don't have money. I can't do the business, right? So I think we can live with that part of it. I don't think. I think, see, the one of the challenging part is we have always been conservative and frugal, even with a curious mindset in India. The conservative and frugal things are the ones which makes us not grow at the level. But I think if you look at Reliance, so somebody challenges them. He says like, what? There is it's a domination of Airtel and Vodafone out there. Okay, I'm going to put up a phone where everybody gets a phone or the service at the cheapest rate. And India is one of the cheapest bandwidth providers in the world, whole of world right now. So Jio comes up with that thing and says, and now if you are not there in the race, you are out of the race and you are dead. So we are also changing right now. At least the modern times are, maybe the situation is driving us. We are not no more a local economy, it's a global economy. So all these things are driving us to even adopt the growth mindset right now. So we are doing that as a part of that right now.
How do you relate yourself, right? As you can see, right, we have been as child of in the 90s, right? I also joined the workforce in 90s. We have seen the whole industry, software industry evolve, and we have been part of multiple leadership positions and seen the evolution of it. So how has that affected you as a person, or what has been some of your learnings or challenges that you can think of?
Yeah. So very, very interesting question. You have larger problems where you need larger teams to solve, but the innovation quotient becomes very less. As you have a smaller problem and small set of people, the innovation quotient increases, but the impact may be very huge. So for example, if you look at example of Google, right? It was supposed to be a search engine, meaning they at that point in time, how do you know? So there are a lot of people who are putting a website all over the place in the world. So let me try to solve the problem of how to get my information from this, this set of so much information available. But now look at what is Google. Google is not do that is only one part of maybe 2% of their business. Maybe I'm not talking about the volume of business or the amount of business they do. I think, but their business has expanded from that one small problem solving to they have I think coming out with something called let me make smartphones. Apple is coming out with for elitist captive audience. So I am coming out with the democratic audience. So there's it's like a conservative, put up an environment or a operating system that goes and hits everyone in the house, basically. Now, 2010 or 2011, I think they introduced Apple iPhone at the point, right? 11, I think, or 10 or 11. So now, if you look back and see that, I think now you will say that there's no one out there without a phone right now, right? Everybody has a smartphone right now, and democratizing that services has happened basically. So if we have not adopted at least, so if you have the basis of these things, so from 90s to now, these things have happened over a period of time like that. So if you look back and say what has got eliminated, the Xerox machines got eliminated, the PCOs, we call the phone public telephone booths got eliminated. And now the cinema theaters have got eliminated. Entertainment industry has gone through a revamp of all stuff. And the publication industry has gone through a revamp, and the individuals contributing, becoming their own, running their own channels and communicating to their set of audiences. These are all something which were in the imaginary sphere at that point. We wanted to do, but we don't know. Now the tools, technology has evolved to that extent where I think people are able to express themselves. I think we can have a meeting without, it's not a CNBC meeting or something like that. You get a CEO into a CNBC meeting or it is no more like that, right? I think, okay, Gayatri calls Mohan, let's have an interview. Okay, we have it. And then it can get published all over the world. It is Gayatri and Mohan's interesting conversation with very attract customers are not right now. So it is our ability to be being there or not right now. So that change from somebody pushing down something to people that I think the channels were doing their own stories, and then they were pushing the narrative of their own. Now I think everybody, it's democratized right now. The media channels have changed and the technology has changed. So I don't think we can compare what we were doing in 90s to right now. It is a different world, and society is also completely different. We are all metamorphosed into some. I think when we saw a film called, I think, Alien, in that point, we were thinking that Alien is a good movie. Now the technology area also. Basically, I'm thinking Terminator 2 or Terminator 3 is probably still possible right now. There can be someone who can come and do that right now. So that is how the technology has evolved from where we were to right now. I think we should probably appreciate ourselves that we have not lost the race yet. Maybe we will lose the race if we see the once you stop that. I think I come back to your curiosity question. If you come back to the original question of curiosity, if you don't have that, I think we will get outdated in this the fast-paced, technology-driven world. I think that is the key to keeping yourself glued to what is happening around you. Is curiosity to know what is happening around. Otherwise, I think we will. So it is very possible tomorrow I can say I'm done with this man and let technology go its way, society go its way. I can just retire. But the retirement is now not there with your capabilities right now. So even if you don't want to receive the information, your smartphone gives you the information. And we are so much used to finding, okay, what time my MTC bus comes here. I'm using my smartphone to find out. It comes in 2 minutes. I can take my cycle and go there, park it and go there basically. So that's how it has changed. The whole thing of, hey, there is a horn coming at 5 kilometers away. I think the 11 o'clock bus is coming is what we were used to, right?
Exactly.
Hey, if you are living in a village,
Imagine.
right, I think it is 11 o'clock. The time is 11 o'clock. We used to find the time by hearing a honk, which was like 5 kilometers away when you are living in a small city or village. Now the whole thing is completely different. The way the life has changed and every aspect of life has changed differently, and we have to adopt. You adopt or you die. The perform or perish culture of the corporate has seeped into my personal life also.
That is the hardest thing, right? See, with the many times, right, when I'm often stuck with a decision, saying that do I do this? There are too many options in front of me. Earlier, we used to have this problem of, you don't have too many options. You just say, okay, this is the only option, and just keep working hard and harder. Now, be it, choices that you have in your personal life as well as in professional life. When we have to choose an enterprise product, let's say for a product management aspect, or even for a middle tier of software, we have to do just too many options, and everything is right in some sense. So it's ability to adapt and keep trying and say, okay, if things are not working, pivot and try something else. I think that sort of a mindset is what, at least personally, I have imbibed in myself. Because earlier I used to think, 5 years plan, 6 years plans. Okay, what is the next? What is next? No, it's no longer. It's like instant processing. It's no longer straight through processing, right? You have to do instant processing and do it for today, and then go to the next one, and then process it as and when situation warrants it.
It stresses you out. If you are fixed, then there's no stress, right? Now we have to evaluate options for every decision you make. Meaning, whether I want to eat here, I have 100 joints. So whether it is Swiggy or Zomato. Okay, in Swiggy I need to go where 100 different veg or non-veg. Okay, pizza, like, okay. I don't know. There is the availability of technology has made your society and culture completely driven by the technology right now. I don't know whether it is positive change or negative change, but it is there. So you have to live with it. Very interesting. I think even choosing a software, people are traditionally going back with the product has product features, tick marks, all those things previously, right? Now I think it's a table stake, right? If you don't have this, you are not there in the market at all right now. So every product is standardized to a large extent right now. So it is not a question of products now. It has moved to one level up. How the product talks to other surrounding ecosystem. Okay, whether your HMS can talk to a CRM or a SAP or something intuitively. Not that I have to code everything there. I just go define something there. It should automatically talk. I think it will all boil down into more of I have pre-built tools. I orchestrate them. That's how probably if you look at the Sparks and Kafkas of the world. I think there are pre-built frameworks that are coming up, or and it is just that you relate to what is that they are offering, and is my problem solved by that or not. So your awareness should be limited to, hey, this is my problem. What this tool in the technology tool in the open source world or the cloud that is offering, and the people who can match this faster, the matchmakers of a right tool for a tool and technology for a known business problem are the ones who will thrive, as the other way around. They will thrive. I think I was talking to someone yesterday. He was telling me that matchmakers of the world are the ones who know about the horoscopes or the tools out there in the open source.
Very nicely put. Matchmakers. In fact, one of the things that I was thinking is earlier we used to, let's say, this ERP systems, we used to do a lot of configuration, and there was this very well suited consultants who will come say, okay, this is how to configure. We used to have months of discovery. Now the same needs right now are being well met using no code, and just like how you're talking about serverless, you're talking about no code to ensure that all the configuration is done, the configurability and the extendability that some of the software is able to offer. And what you said very clearly, right, that ecosystem, is this actually able to talk to multiple payment systems or multiple insurance domain or everybody? Are you able to make that as a hub while you retain your core offering?
So the core offering cannot be your selling point at all. That's a stable state.
Correct.
How you wire it to the other systems out there, and how you are technologically advanced. Even I think now the industry has moved away from interoperabilities and ability to integrate with other systems. I think it will move to, can it intelligently make those integrations on its own kind of? So the AIs and BAs of the world will automatically drive it to where they will do their own, okay, I think this customer has, if I am able to say, okay, this customer has, this is the suite of, I have a tool that will say what are the tools he is using, or the products and platforms he is using. Then I make my, okay, for this set of tools and platforms that other guy is using, I need this type of connections for him to work. So if something can be suggested in that way, I think those will be the evolution of the technology going forward, basically. So it is not that I have a product which will do my business. No, that is going to go away. So you have a company, I have a company, and I have, let's say I have a hospital, and let's say you are an insurance provider. So our business touch points are, I submit my claims, and you have exclusions, inclusions, I have, so you have a limit on the procedures and other stuffs. So if this can be ported from your system to my system without even talking to each other, that is the utopian world, but that is not utopian anymore. I think this will happen actually. Yeah. So the providers and payers will be seamlessly interlinked based on the type of products you have. And that type of intelligent ecosystem will evolve within next 5 to 10 years. We will see something like that going forward. The guys who are on the gaga over about their AWS capabilities or the cloud capabilities or Azure capabilities will be shortchanged by the intelligent systems making their own decisions to suggest or connect automatically based on some authentications, right? I go give a connect with Star Health from Kaveri Hospital. If I say that, right? It will find out mechanism too. So my new customer is Star Health. I think there will be some kind of what they use and what they use and what mechanism they provide. And if it is all standardized to a large extent, I think that's it. The Spark will orchestrate on its own. I mean, it's an auto Spark. So that will happen. I think that is what is going to happen as an industry base. It will be a cultural shock for us again, because the growth from the last 20 years, from 90s to 2020, this 30 years has shifted very much. This 2020 to 2030 will shift it completely differently. 90s will be completely outdated. If you are 40, you are out of the race. If you are 30, you may be in the race. Unless you keep yourself young with your mindset, and if you are 20 in your mindset, you will survive, or you will not be part of this technology evolution.
Very well put, Mohan. In fact, one of the questions that I was going to ask you was, how do you see the technology going in? I think you already answered in terms of having that.
No, that is bound to happen.
I think that is today it's happening.
Yeah, because
you can see it in the reality.
Yeah. So you go type, if Gayatri's mail comes, she is asking, hey, can we meet tomorrow? I go start my mail. Gayatri, I think we can meet at 11 o'clock is being suggested by Google.
Oh my God.
So the intelligent system has, Yeah. The text prompts are already at a level where I think they have solved the text problem right now. So they will solve the integration problems as they move. So the domination by the AI will automatically, it's not artificial intelligence, it will be intelligence and we will be artificial going forward. So man is trying to live within their intelligence by being artificial. And if they don't adapt to the intelligence out there in the ecosystem, they will become artificial intelligence and the machines will become intelligent, basically.
Oh my goodness.
So, and that's bound to
Awesome.
happen.
Awesome, Mohan. I think that man will become artificial and and the machines will become more intelligent.
Yeah. Because that's what I'm saying. The ecosystems, if a system, hey, what are my ecosystems? What type of products are out there? It's all there in the Google. So it will just say, and if it's all documented in some form in Google, these are the APIs offered by that, and these are the connections for that one. If somebody documents all these things in the world, automatically this is not a problem. This is a community problem. Like the way they solve the map problem, this is a community problem, right? This will be solved by the community actually. It is not by individuals who will be solving. So now we have shifted from individual programmers to a community data problems basically. So the community data problem solution will come from the community itself. And because that is where the individuals are motivated to contribute. Let me contribute to the community is going to be more technology and the documentation inputs and other stuffs in the community, right? So if someone can say, okay, SAP offers this, let's say like 50 adapters for doing some all payment related. Let's say like all the SAP finance has only 50 integration touch points. And I am a SAP user. Let's say like, and I have an ecosystem running my business and I'm going to use SAP finance. Automatically it can create, because it is already solved the problem, right? Now everybody is going and coding, let me talk to this sender API, get the data. But as long as you have a tight authentication part out there, why do we have to, everybody has to write, I am a SAP programmer, this is a useless term in the world, right? It's already solved the problem. And we are trying to solve the same problem again and again. It's like I am going to school, my son goes to school, my daughter goes to school, everybody goes through the 5th standard again and again and again. But if we are all standing on top of, right, I think Newton's mechanics has been overwritten by the Euclidean geometry or something like that. So the education system will go a bigger revamp. I think no more this context will be gone, right? So if I go type Akbar, it says some crap in the and I can take that information and move forward, right? So that the historical information adds no value to be in the technology journey we are all in, right? So the education system will also go through a bigger revamp. So the food industry has gone through a revamp. Our social life has gone through a revamp because of, with or without COVID, it has accelerated the technology accelerated our life into, I think we can all live with ourselves peacefully now. We don't need to have a party to have, we may like the party, but I think we can live without a party. That's the gist of the message, right? Oh, we can live without.
Yep.
So you can interact, you don't need to interact, you can live with or without. So that has set in already. When people had the need to talk to people at some point in time, now we don't need to have a need to people. Or if you want to talk, okay, just call. You have a video call. I think if I have to go meet Gayatri, I have to travel 10-15 kilometers, 1 hour of time. Now, a click of a button, I think Gayatri is in touch. So if you look at those things, I think I brought up Alien, I brought up Terminator, they're all 90s films actually. But they are all happening.
Are linked.
Are happening right now. So you see, like there's a Pegasus scandal or something. It's all happening out there. You just need to see your social happenings around you. You can see that you can relate back to your sci-fi movies of 90s. Yes, sci-fi movies are right. They are all happening right now. Maybe directors were futuristic at that point, and now the directors should be in present right now, basically. But the culture and our own things, our own behaviors are not changing with the technology, but they are getting influenced. We will see a man plus also at some point in time. Maybe I think it should be. I should be gender-wise neutral. I should say it will be human plus probably. So.
Human. So, Mohan, I know this has been a very interesting conversation. I can imagine a lot more questions to be asking you. But in the interest of time, any thoughts you want to give? We spoke about AI. We spoke about being data aware. I mean, we talked about curiousness, building it. Anything else you want to give our listeners as a tip, so that they can build on top of it?
So it is very simple. I think we have to be in tune with what is happening around us, both technology-wise, social-wise, because like the the kids of the world today are not the kids of the world of 90s. So my culture, my brought up is not relevant for today. So I should adapt to what is being asked for, what is being. So we have to, as a society, we should tune to what is happening around us basically. And technology wise, we should get adapt at what is out there in the market. Don't get stuck into your own. I know this. It was there like that. I have been there, done that. Is no more there. You've been there, but somebody else is doing it differently, right? So are you in tune with somebody else doing it differently? So being there, done that mindset should go away. Being there, done that will root you to something and help you anchor yourself to something. But that cannot be a driving force for your ability to drive changes or drive businesses. And as a from my industry perspective, I think there is a lot of catching up to do. I think the industry itself has to leverage itself to a lot. And I was telling in 90s, there's going to be a digital divide at that point in time, meaning I was only talking about the divide between who knows computer and who doesn't know computer at that point in time. But now the digital divide has percolated into all dimensions of life, whether technology divide or a societal divide or something like that. So everywhere, cultural divide. So the technology has pervaded seamlessly into every one of those things, right? So we have to upgrade ourselves, keep in tune with the advancements out there, and be aware that how the people brought up in this environment are behaving, and understand from them how they have adapted. The peer pressures and stresses we used to have in 90s and the peer pressures and stresses the current kids have are completely different. So they should become more of appreciating themselves than comparing. So the comparing mode should go away. And as coming back to your growth mindset, it should be appreciating yourself is the way for growth mindset. Comparing yourself is not a growth mindset, it's a fixed mindset. Where you wrote that, I think when you are going with cycling, and two people were cycling or something like that, one reached faster, but it doesn't matter, right? For the cyclist, if he's comparing with that other cyclist, only he will know that, or she will know that I'm in race with him. If you're enjoying your cycling, it doesn't matter at all, right? So I think I saw somewhere you wrote in a blog.
I wrote it long back about it.
I think when you were cycling, you wrote it long back. See, you wrote something which stuck in my mind for such a long time. It comes back in the conversation because of the fact that it made a powerful impact on, hey, why are we in a race at all? There's no race, I think. So appreciating yourself is the way for the growth mindset. You set up your own goals, and use the technology tools, right? Find the right set of people who can help you achieve that goal, and right mindset for that, and right people and right technology and awareness of what is happening around you will make you complete. Anybody can be. Now the entrepreneurship culture is setting up in India. So I'm a late entrepreneur. I just left a corporate. Actually, it was very interesting point. I left corporate. I was taking a sabbatical. I think we talked about that. Right? I was in sabbatical for a couple of years. I didn't do anything. But unfortunately, at that point, unfortunately, I don't know. What I did was I was a pro bono consulting for one of my friends at that time. It's a large retail chain out there. So they wanted to implement Dynamics 360 for their retail business. So I told, okay, I will probably try to consult, but I think it became so involving because they were in a remote place and their talent was not there, and they were very conservative in terms of believing that there are technologies out there, basically. So that's a mindset, right? So they want to have technology, but I think because they have not handled those people out there, the technology people. So they think that they are charging more or something like that. They swindle or then they had a bad experience where they hired someone, they didn't deliver. So all those type of things also we have to fight. And what people you have basically is like 12th grade and less is and they have never seen a computer in their life probably. So you have to adapt them to a global ERP out there. So the service industry mindset which I carried could not execute that project. So I have to change my mindset, how to get some things done with what I have in hand at that point in time. So I have to completely rewrite myself to get that done, basically. It took a little bit, 6 months more than what I have anticipated myself. I had been in a cognizant type of environment where your resources are immense. There's no limit to your resources, both in technology as well as in people. But in a place where you are constrained by the other factors, where you don't have the luxury of a corporate, So you rewrite yourself completely to how to get things done. So your mindset changes, and the mindset changes will automatically carry forward to. Then my friend called me. Then, hey, can we do this business together? And he told me that you should run this business for me. Then I thought, okay, let me do that basically. So it gave another dimension to overall way I looked at it. So that's maybe I will be.
Mohan,
So,
I'm looking forward to your next.
So I think it's a great opportunity, guys. I'm really impressed with the way I think 150 interviews is not a small thing out there. It's a milestone, I think. And I'm happy that you invited me also, because I'm not a big shot out there. So so normal people doing normal things are also getting talked about nowadays as a big thing, it seems. So part of the cultural change we are going through, it seems.
Yes.
Yeah, I really liked talking to you, Gayatri.
Thank you so much. And it has been a very interesting conversation, Mohan. And I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for appearing in
Two things also I'll bring up. I
Sure,
think
sure.
it's not about the count of 150 interviews. I think you getting a peek into 150 individuals' thought process, right? That gives a different dimension to the way you listen, the way you observe, and the way you accelerate your knowledge base also. I think everyone will have a different perspective. Everyone will come with their own view of things. I think it will be an enormous journey for you also if you're doing that for such a long time, and having a user base for listening to that. I think it's a fantastic thing. I think I really appreciate because in the changed world, how do we get the growth mindset done? Basically, you have already been there and done that right now. Even though I want to get it of being there, done that. I think in the new world also you have been there and done that. Appreciate your focus and getting this going. Guys.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Mohan.
Thank you.
We thank Siddharth for the music and Anita for promoting the Software People stories.
If you like this episode,
Please subscribe on your favorite podcast client.
And spread the word in your network.
if you'd like to share your story,
Contact us at podcasts@pm-powerconsulting.com.